Hello students, today we will see error test, meshing revision method, meshing techniques and boundary conditions. So the first topic is error test. If a numerical error is detected, the FEM model need to be revised and analysis have to be repeated. The first test is condition number test. This provides the information about the number of digits of accuracy that lost while solving equation f is equal to ku. The condition number k defined by C of k is equal to lambda max by lambda minimum, where lambda max represents largest eigenvalue of k and lambda minimum represents smallest eigenvalue of k. Next test is diagonal decay test. It is used for detecting numerical error during the process of solving f is equal to ku by Gauss elimination method. I repeat, diagonal decay test, it is used for detecting numerical errors during the process of solving equation f is equal to ku by Gauss elimination method. It is applied to each diagonal coefficient just before it is used as a pivot in the eliminating another unknown values. The next test is patch test. It is used for element to display the constant state of strain. The patch test is performed as follows. The construct a patch of element such that at least one node is internal to the patch. At least one node internal to the patch. To prevent the rigid body motion, the patch is provided with support. The patch is provided with support. Element shape should be irregular because a rectangular element pass the test or otherwise it fails. Element shape should be irregular. Okay. Next, the boundary of the patch can be rectangle with uniform space node. The boundary can be rectangular with uniform space nodes. Apply work environmental nodal loads consistent with a state of constant stress to the one or more boundaries of the patch. Suppose in opposite f represents in one direction and f represents in another opposite direction. Similarly for node 2 to f, for node 3 again same force in. Okay, so these are the three tests. First one, condition number test, diagonal decay test and patch test. Next is mesh revision method. Mesh revision method can improve the results in analysis. The aim is to achieve the necessary accuracy by adopting as many degrees of freedom as possible. Mesh revision method involves refinement of coarse mesh. Okay, so the first diagram represents your original meshing. The second image represents H refinement. H is for the linear dimensions that characterize the size of the element, and H refinement consists of loading elements of the same type as shown in figure. The size of the element may be square root of the area or cube root of the volume. In next, it's a P refinement. P is for the degree of the highest complete polynomial in the element field quantity. It is increase the degrees of polynomial within element without changing the number of element. In this refinement, adding dot to the existing nodes. So in this extra node is added between two nodes. Adding nodes on the existing internal elements boundaries. Adding extra nodes to internal element boundaries. Okay. So in reference book page number, in page number 184, here H and P refinement are differentiate. So in H refinement, element length is reduced for achieving convergence. In P refinement, element length not change. Element order is not changed in H refinement. In P refinement, element order is increased by achieving convergence. H refinements applicable for all elements. P refinement applicable for only limited types of elements. H elements requires more time to converge. P refinement required less time for convergence. H refinements applicable all types of analysis, where P element or P refinement limited to linear static or normal mode dynamics in most of the commercial softwares. So you have to differentiate what is meant by H and P refinement for 6 marks. Next is meshing techniques. Next topic is meshing techniques. In meshing techniques, the output of mesh generated consists of set of nodes and set of elements. So the following are some classifications of mesh generation methods. The first one is mesh topology. Once the meshing is decided, the mesh smoothing techniques may be used for calculating the position of the nodal points. In mesh topology, you have to first mesh, then after meshing you have to apply smooth meshing techniques for your meshing part. So this is called as mesh topology. Next is nodes. In this method, node connection method is also called. Nodes are generated such that their distribution conforms to the mesh density specification. Here the extra nodes are created between two nodes. In next phase is the element generation phase, where created nodes are connected to form best possible element. Here the first nodes are created, then extra node is created between two nodes, then connect these two nodes or created extra nodes, so you will get better result. Next is adaptive mesh template. Next method is adaptive mesh template. This method is also called as grid based approach. In this case, the template is an infinite rectangular or triangular grids. It consists infinite rectangular or triangular grids. The grid is superimposed on the object, and the cells that fall outside the objects are removed. The grid cells that intersect with object boundaries are adjusted or trimmed so that they fit into the objects. So first I created infinite or finite. Suppose here created 100 elements. So I superimpose this rectangular on circular surface. Then those rectangular surface fall outside the objects, they are removed or trimmed. Next is node and element created simultaneously. The nodes and elements created simultaneously means, suppose you have a plate with center hole and you want to create a surface or element on eliminated hole. So you have to create first nodes on outer surface of your circle, then connect these nodes by beams or columns to create a element. So this is the method, node and elements created simultaneously. Next is, it's the fifth one, to explain free and mapped meshing. Before meshing, the model is important to decide which type of meshing is to be done based on type of analysis. Free mesh has no specific pattern to apply and no restrictions on element shape. Mapped mesh has restrictions on pattern to mesh and the element shape. Mapped area mesh constrain either quadrilateral or triangular element. Mapped volume mesh constrain only hexagon elements. So if you see the outer surface of your objects here are same, but in free meshing here some chord mesh is applied, but they are irregular. But in mapped meshing they are in linear. Okay, so this is the difference between free and map. Next is boundary conditions. So in FEA there is two types, essentials and naturals. The boundary conditions are the variables that are specified at the boundaries of problem, entity or field of the interest. These are known displacement and applied external forces in structural problem analysis. Here there are two types of boundary conditions. One is homogeneous boundary condition, second one is non-homogeneous boundary condition. In homogeneous boundary condition, when the movement is prevented completely at any locations, means degrees of freedom is equal to 0. In non-homogeneous boundary condition, where finite non-zero displacement values are specified, means there is some percent deformation is possible. Then what is meant by essential and natural boundary condition? In natural boundary condition, if you see a cantilever beam and uniformly distributed load is applied from node A to node B. In natural boundary condition, at point B where x is equal to L, shear force is equal to 0 and bending moment is 0. In essential boundary conditions, at point A x is equal to 0 where displacement in y direction is equal to 0 and slope dy by dx is equal to 0. So you have to mention natural body and boundary essential boundary condition at point B and point A. So today we have studied error test, mesh revision method, meshing techniques and boundary conditions. So in next lecture we will study what are the types of analysis. Okay, so today we will stop here. Thank you.